instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Guys, welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if it can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. So here we are, guys, episode 27. And tonight we're bringing you, it's one of my bucket list haunts to go to. I hope I get there one day, but it is Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
One of the big ones, one of the Mount Rushmore of haunted places, right?
Absolutely.
In the United States.
Yep. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's one of those that's just a looming presence. There's like nothing around it. It's the goods. It's just the goods.
Yes. Every show has been there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who's gone there has, a fun little anecdote or story. And it's just, if you're going to be covering this stuff, you got to cover Waverly Hills.
Yep. All right, guys. But before we go into the different ghosts and legends of Waverly Hills, I'm going to send it over to Jay for tonight's jump scare.
All right, so tonight's jump scare, back in March, we had our little giveaway contest, and hadn't had a chance yet, but we wanted to read the winning submission. All right, and this one, which I think you guys are really going to like, comes from our buddy Eric, who submitted, and I think you're going to see why we, why we picked this one. It's a little bit lengthy, but it's been a little bit since we put up a show, so I think it's worth the wait. So it's entitled "The Apartment." I've always been the kind of guy that abides by the tried and true saying, "I'll believe it when I see it." I'm not saying I'm a closed-minded individual, but the world's got to give me something to work with before I'm spreading gospel. I like it.
Yeah.
Back in '97. I had just moved back home after getting the proverbial boot from university. Let's say I had more things in my mind than putting my nose to the grindstone. After about 3 months living with my folks again, I decided it was time to begin the search for my first apartment. Working at a furniture store didn't afford me the luxury of seeking out pads downtown. Rather, I'd kind of have to take what I could get. After weeks of searching through Sunday classifieds, I'd finally landed on a listing that appeared promising. The advert read, 2-bedroom apartment with kitchen and hardwood floors, $400 a month. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is 97. Sorry. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Just reading that small description had me feeling like I'd won the state lottery. 2 bedrooms and hardwood floors at the tender age of 22. Suffice it to say, I called the number as fast as I could and set up a viewing with the current occupant. A few days later, I drove out to the apartment for my appointment. The address was 421 and a half Rosemont Avenue. And 122 and an 8. I'm not explaining that one.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it for the life of me. And half? What the hell is half of an address? I was already late. The sun had gone down on me, and this was now akin to searching for El Dorado. After it seemed like an eternity of block circling, I finally found the small alleyway that led to Rose Court Apartments. When I stepped out of my truck, I looked up upon the building and instantly thought it was eerie. Why is this 2-story white block of an apartment building hidden in the middle of blocks of cookie-cutter homes? Well, the price was right, and if the place looked like in any way uninhabitable, I was prepared to forego any apprehension I might have had. I knocked on the door of the apartment, 1A, and the lady in her mid-30s opened the door. She welcomed me, albeit nervously, to take a look around at the place. It was obvious that she was the current occupant, as no furnishings, decor, personal items had been packed. I just took it as the lady needed to get me into the place so she could get out of her lease. While she sat down watching television, I poked around to see if there were any tires I could kick. Both the kitchen and bathroom appeared to be straight out of the 50s, complete with checkered tiles and linoleum countertop. The hardwood floor felt as if it were older than Methuselah, but damned if I didn't have the charm. Damned if it didn't have the charm. While I peeked into one of the bedrooms, the lady snuck up behind me to point out some carpet stains next to the wall. Here we go. She explained that her boyfriend was a hunter and that the stain was blood that had come off his clothes after one of his trips. That's a lot of blood. We're talking West Virginia here. So even though the stain situation was a tad unsettling, it didn't seem to be anything that wasn't plausible. I mean, I grew up in the woods too, but that's much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was probably only in the apartment for 10 minutes before I fell in love with it, even with the stains. Stains and all. I told the lady I thought I was probably going to take it, and I would call the landlord the next day. As soon as she finally had a smile on her face, the front door flew open and a man covered head to toe in camouflage with at least 3 hunting rifles strapped to him sped right by me and walked straight to the bedroom. Without me saying a word, even though I didn't have any, she told me that was her boyfriend and he just got back from one of his hunting trips. Startling, creepy, strange, convenient, but fair enough. I had found my new home. Okay. After about a month of getting into and settling into my new place, I began to feel unsettled, as odd as that sounds. Even though I had friends come visit from time to time, I felt this incredible sense of isolation and unease. I guess I always thought the people made friends with their neighbors in apartment buildings, and I guess I was wrong. I shared the building with 3 other apartments that were occupied, but the tenants never seemed to have much to say. The guy across the hall was kind of an old hippie that spent most of his days at the casino. The girl that lived above me had an earthy sense to her as well, but she was one of those lifelong college students, I think. All right. Across the hall from her was some kind of young go-getter in his early 30s that I'd be lucky to catch running up or down the stairs. At the end of the day, it was just me and the apartment. Throughout the year in apartment 1A, my uneasiness increased along with the odd occurrences with my new abode. On numerous occasions, while trying to sleep at night, I'd hear the sobbing of what sounded like a young girl. To be honest with you, I told you. Stains and sobs. Our new podcast. Yeah. I heard the sobbing of what sounded like a young girl. To be honest with you, the noise felt like more a nuisance than anything else until I realized there was no accounting for where it was coming from. There were no homes close enough to my apartment to where I'd hear anything emanating from inside, let alone something or someone crying. The only apartment the sound could have possibly come from was the one above me, but the tenant was rarely there when the occurrences took place. I even got up the nerve to catch the lady who lived upstairs to tell her what I'd been experiencing. When I asked if it would have possibly been her who was crying, she laughed and said it most certainly was not her and that she had nothing to cry about.
Yeah. She's like, I never fucking cried a day in my life.
What's crying?
Yeah.
Why do you cry? Yeah. Not only was I suddenly experiencing mystery crying, but now I had begun having odd nightmares about the apartment's basement. Ew. Mind you, the nightmares seemingly had no rhyme or reason, but why was I having them and why then? Honestly, if you had the opportunity to see the basement as it was, you might have also experienced nightmares or post-basement trauma. Good one, Eric. Once a week, I had to lug my laundry down those creaking wood steps and into the arachnid-ridden basement. Oh, yeah, awful. Beyond the laundry room, there were a few unfinished rooms with dirt floors. Oh, man, this is just like my aunt's house. But they were sans lighting, and that was a no-go for me. I feel you 100% on this. Mm-hmm. I hated having to go down there, and I sure as hell wasn't going to explore the washer and dryer, or beyond the washer and dryer. Mm-hmm. Why am I telling you this? I understand that some random crying and creepy basement doesn't necessarily equate to a bone-chilling memoir, but perhaps it's connected to what I'm about to tell you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All the odd occurrences I had experienced came to a terrifying and baffling crescendo one summer night. I had just finished up watching whatever was on TV and headed to bed for the night. The lights were out, there was no crying, and I hadn't had a basement nightmare for weeks. Though everything seemed set for a good night's rest, I tossed and turned for at least a good hour. My constant movement had the sheets all a mess, and I began sweating. So I decided to get up and turn on the window unit. As soon as I attempted to lift my shoulders and back up off the mattress, I was held down with what felt like the force of a grown man. I was now in pure shock mode with the blood feeling like it had just been drained from my body. I couldn't see a thing, and every time I attempted to rise or move anything, I would be held down with even stronger force. As much as I tried, I couldn't get anything to come out of my mouth. It felt as if I had been struggling forever to get up, but it probably was around just a few minutes. I gave everything I had to break the grasp of whatever was holding me down, and finally my upper torso jettisoned upwards. While being soaked in cold sweat and panting like a dog, I stared forward into the darkness of the bedroom. I don't know how to explain this, but I could see and feel something horrible in the dark. That's all it was, just darkness. Maybe it was more of a sense that I could feel whatever it was looking at me after it was done holding me down. You know how animals seem to have a sixth sense about the stuff we can't see? Well, that's what it felt like. I could feel that whatever it was that had been holding me down was staring right at me, and it was malevolent to its core. I had never been so scared in my life. In a flash of machismo, I jumped out of bed to turn on the lights and confront whatever was in the room, but nothing was there. I rushed room to room, not sure what I was looking for, but found nothing. Wide awake, I sat on the living room couch and tried to make sense of what just took place. Did I just have a paranormal experience? Could what had just happened be somehow tied to all of that odd experiences that I had had in the apartment? The odd tenants that lived there before? The feelings of isolation? The mysterious crying at night? The weird basement nightmares? All I knew then and all I know now is that something was off about Rose Court Apartments, and what I had experienced was not a nightmare. As funny as it sounds, I didn't rush to find a new home after that night, though I would leave just a few months later. No longer did I experience the mysterious crying at night, nor did I have the nonsensical nightmares. It seemed like whatever the apartment had for me was spent. When I did eventually move out months later, I found something very odd while cleaning out my bedroom closet. By the top shelf, all the way to the right, was this weird cubby hole cut into the closet wall that was covered up by a piece of painted plywood. I pulled out the piece of plywood and found an old Colt 45 wrapped in cloth. Just when I thought things couldn't get any weirder, right? I wrapped the gun back up, put it where I found it, and called the landlords just to let them know. Throughout the years after my quote-unquote experience at Rose Court Apartments, I've searched the web, etc., looking for answers or any similar experiences anyone else may have had. About 6 years ago, I came upon an article about the phenomenon called sleep paralysis. Even though the experiences that others have had with sleep paralysis seem to be similar to mine, I'm as convinced as the sky is blue that my situation and many others, having labeled as SP, sleep paralysis, have absolutely nothing to do with sleep, neurological issues, or whatever else they are casually attributing it to. Like I said in the beginning, I believe things when I see them. What happened to me that night cannot be explained by physicians or physics. Everything I'm telling you is 100% true, and I'm here to tell you that there are very real and very scary things out there that we do not yet understand.
One might say other dangers.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
You could say that.
Yeah. Real quick, a couple takeaways from that story. One, when I first read it, like the writing was really well done, and I was like immersed in just the story and how told it. And what the fuck is it about basements?
Oh, dude, well, it's dark. You don't go down there much. It's unfinished. That there is the possibility of, spiders, rats, even maybe a snake. It's just that dark room that's always dark, right? Like you don't really get too much light down there. It's some kind of primordial fear, right? It's like that.
And like you're underground.
Like or a cave where you stay away from because there might be a fucking, bears that used to kill us, 10,000 years ago,
Yeah, I'm also like that you're underground. It's like that inevitable feeling of one day I'll be here. Basements.
I mean, they're a constant source of spooky creepiness. I like that Eric touched on the whole sleep paralysis thing because when I started reading the experience, when he started having it and describing it, I immediately went there. Can't really rule a judgment on this because this is a personal story, but that's where I would personally go. But it's not my experience. I mean, it definitely hits all those marks. But still, man, I mean, who can say, man? I mean, that creepy dude with the blood all over the floor.
Yeah, and there's another thing. It's like, all right, so you have the blood all over the floor, the Colt 45 tucked away in a little cubby wrapped up, and then the little girl crying. Did someone murder a child there?
I mean, I think that's what Eric's trying to suggest.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Eric. That was an awesome story.
Yeah, man, thanks. Really appreciate it.
Well-deserved victory there with the contest.
Yes. So Ken, Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Yeah, let's turn our sights to this bad motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Man, it's a hulking structure. Like the architecture itself, it looks like it was designed to say, hey, you're you're gonna shit yourself here. Like it's literally designed to just to be intimidating. It seems, but it wasn't.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those old buildings. I mean, it's gigantic, and it was designed that way with a certain purpose in mind. Because, well, let's roll a little history into here so we know what we're talking about. So basically, there was a hospital on this property before. It's located outside of Louisville, Kentucky. You can't say Louisville; they'll shoot you. Just trying to respect it.
Yeah.
Located just outside of Louisville is this giant hospital. Now, there had been a hospital beforehand, but this giant tuberculosis hospital was opened in 1912 originally, to move what was going on, what was being called the White Plague. Now, during this time in Kentucky and in the whole Ohio River area, there was this massive outbreak of tuberculosis, which there was there's no antibiotics for this yet, nothing like that. And because of the certain air that kind of, was created by this area, it was perfect for this bacteria. And they thought back then all you needed was fresh air to fresh air to cure you of tuberculosis.
Good old fashioned science,
Yeah. Yep. It sounds good. Let's do it. In that same spirit, if you folks have never seen The Road to Wellville, it's on Amazon Prime right now. If you have that, go ahead and watch that. Anthony Hopkins, great movie, and it's all about medical quackery. Sorry. So you have this huge hospital. It was designed in this shape and it was put on the top of this hill so it would catch the wind the right way. So if the patients were sitting on these outdoor decks, basically, just to get the best possible fresh mountain air. But it didn't do anything because they're still having this, bacterial infection, and it was still killing them. And according to some numbers, anywhere between 63,000 people died from this. It's insanely, contagious. Like families would just get wiped out. Just. So
consumption didn't fuck around, man.
Yeah, no, they didn't. No. So they opened this hospital, and it's huge. They keep adding on to it, and you get this massive hulking structure. It's enormous. It houses at one point over 2,000 patients is what I'm seeing here. A few others had other numbers, but that's going to be my
there is a lot of contested numbers with patients, with deaths, with everything. So
right.
We're going off the best hearsay we could find.
Yeah, because I mean, here's the thing. They're saying that so many people died during this outbreak from this period of time that it's hard to hold these numbers and really know exactly how many people died, which is crazy. You think about that. I mean, you can't count how many people died. There's no medical records. There were, but
it's not like today. Nothing.
It was a different time.
Yeah, everything's not put into a database and spread around the world. There's even talks of it being upwards of 3 billion people that died from tuberculosis.
I mean, that's worldwide.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
sure. But it remained in operation until 1961, which is crazy. But by then there was the antibiotic streptomycin, which is common these days. I mean, you can kids get that for I mean, my own kids have gotten it, but as soon as they've gotten that, there was really no need for this hospital. So it was shut down, and then eventually became a geriatric hospital, which is even worse.
Yeah.
But you have this giant building, it's state funded, with all these, places like we touched on in our first episode. Anything that's state funded eventually just run down. There's not enough, not enough funds for things. People get,
Yeah, well,
exploited.
Well, at one point, even no matter the age, the staff would call them the children.
Yes.
The patients. It's
yeah.
What kind of fuckery was that, man?
I don't know.
That's weird, man. I don't like that.
Yep. I think when things like this happen, people just get into a weird headspace. I mean, we've seen it in the last year and a half, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't even that bad, and people get into this. So when you have this many people dying, I think people just grasp onto normalcy, I guess.
Yeah, convert things that aren't normal into normalcy. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But because of so many people dying on the property, what was constructed into the hospital was this body chute, aka also known as the death tunnel. Never known as the death tunnel.
Yeah.
Maybe a movie called it that.
According to the movie called it Death Tunnel.
Yeah, according to two British cowboys. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
The tunnel, it was an entrance and exit for the workers of the sanatorium. It was built on the first floor with the rest of the building. The corridor is 500 feet to the bottom of the hill and has a set of stairs on one side, which were the stairs used for the workers. On the other side, there was a cart, like with a winch, that moved up and down the staircase, which transported supplies and other necessities. Since antibiotics did not exist in the time that the sanatorium was active, other forms of aid were used to treat TB patients. For example, heat lamps, fresh air, and positive talk and reassurance. You're going to get through this, buddy. I swear. Dead the next day.
You look great.
You look great today.
Excuse me, sir. What seems to be your boggle?
Exactly. Since the death rate of TB patients at the time was one death per day. However, at the peak of this disease, the sight of the dead being carried away in full view of the patients lowered the patient morale. So that was the whole reason of having this. So they started transporting the dead bodies as secretly as possible to increase the morale and lower the death rates, because they thought that there was like a direct correlation. So they had this tunnel. All these bodies are going out, crazy amount of people are dying every day. So they're like, well, let's put them in the tunnel and move them out the back door so people don't see it. Because they actually thought if they see people dying, I'm going to die too.
Yeah. Imagine we showing up for work too, going through the tunnel, and they're just they're like, another day at Waverly. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, 6,000 more. Okay. Yeah. And, so it was a crazy time. And, you take a place like this, you have all this crazy stuff that's occurring here, all the deaths, death tunnels, then it turning into this geriatric home that people said was beyond awful. Like, it was a nursing home primarily treating aging patients with various stages of dementia and mobility limits, as well as the severely mentally handicapped. So right there, it's, it's essentially turned into almost a psychiatric facility.
Yep.
One of these snake pits. It was severely understaffed and overcrowded, and then also had reports of patient neglect, and was closed by the state of Kentucky in 1982. So after 1982, it went through all these idea guys came through.
The brainiac showed up.
1983, a gentleman bought the hospital and wanted to turn it into a prison. But it didn't really start out. It didn't work out because they ended up needing all this funding from the state, and the state was like, no.
Yeah.
Then this might be the craziest thing that occurred on this. Did you hear about the statue?
Yes, the largest statue of Jesus. They
wanted to, that this is in 1996, and that good old fashioned American ingenuity to like, oh, Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro is the biggest one in the world. Fuck that.
Yeah, not on our watch.
not on our watch. And it was going to, so they had this whole thing planned out. It was going to be 150 feet tall. It was going to cost $4 million, and then an additional $8 million to make a gift shop and all this other cute shit. And it fell through because donations just dried up because the price tag just kept going higher and higher and higher.
Higher and higher. You just brought me to my point, though. They really missed an opportunity to, spray it down with, charged ecto, goop and play higher and higher, your love.
They could have, but.
And just,
this is 96, over. And I think Ghostbusters 2 is still in that like hate period. We were like, that movie sucked. And it's like, what are you talking about? But it was, they didn't think of it.
Yeah. All right. I tried.
I mean, hey, I would have been,
first in line
to help them, but also that's a weird fucking thing to build there.
Yeah. In this crazy feel, like, oh man.
Yeah. In Kentucky, what do you think would have happened to that fucking thing?
Probably got shot at. Yeah.
Oh, that would be a daily occurrence. That's not even worth mentioning. I mean, like, what's the real crazy redneck shit that would have happened?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Moonshining.
Yeah, or just randomly someone flies something into it.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
I mean, that's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
But then it sat vacant. Just sat there until 2001, and the current owners, the Mattingleys, purchased it, and now it's in its current state that it is. It's basically a standing ruin, very much like Eastern State Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
However, this is a little more. They put a little more construction into this just so it doesn't fall apart, and it's it's just a big haunted house attraction. And these folks are folks of means, apparently, so all the proceeds that they get from the attraction just goes to keeping to the restoration of the property.
Well, you know what, thank God for that too, like those kind of people, because like that's just my favorite shit. Like it's simply put, like don't tear it down, man. Make it a haunted house, man. It's already built, it's already there. Just put some actors in there, man. Tell us a good story.
Absolutely. So a hell of a place, I guess. But they didn't know, the Mattingleys, when they purchased this, that they were what they were kind of like inheriting, because it was just this big old building, and all the haunted stuff basically came after the fact. Right. They actually were looking to possibly, renovate it, turn it into a hotel, turn it into something.
Apartments, like that.
That kind of whole thing. And then they were like, all these people were coming to them saying, "Oh, this place is crazy haunted," and just happened to happen at the good time where it was like, okay, so it's haunted, and this could be a really great opportunity. And I guess they're business people, don't know anything about them. But they sure as hell turned it around, because that place is on everyone's destination list. I mean, every Halloween, I'm like, man, can I make it to Kentucky? Because not only could I hit Waverly Hills, but I could also hit Bobby Mackey's.
Another bucket list place.
Yeah, they're not far from each other. We'll do it. We'll do it
one day. Yeah. Yes, sir. Road trip,
exactly. And then it also occasionally hosts the Sounds of the Underground Music Festival, which has a bunch of bands there or whatever. But it's over now because there were complaints made by local residents.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Like maybe people passing through, because it's kind of far away from like the towns, right? I mean,
it's like it is, but it isn't. Like it's right outside of Louisville, and I was actually looking at the map. Like it kind of is, and I'm sure when it was built, this was like way off the map. But like now it's kind of like off, kind of like a back road, and it's up on a hill. So like it's separated by distance also and height. So it's like,
okay, yeah. So it's a little further out than like Penhurst is.
No, not even. No, it's no, Penhurst is way out from Philly.
No, I mean like, well, Penhurst, Silver City is right there.
Yeah.
So when you're in Silver City, it's just a little drive. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, so this is far away from Silver City,
right?
From the residents that live by it. It's a little further out.
Yeah, I mean, this is almost just like, this almost like occupies that like that classic like haunted house on the hill kind of thing,
Beautiful.
like Edward Scissorhands' house.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like where's Waverly Hills, and then they just look that way, and it's the fucking black castle with this with the storm clouds over it.
Yeah, there's always a one lightning strike,
Yeah. Where's the sanatorium? They're like, you fucking kidding me? It's right there.
You don't see the witches flying around?
Yeah, seriously, come on, man. You don't see the green and purple lightning over that house?
Oh shit.
Yeah, so good times. So so that's where it sits to this day. And like we said at the top, this place gets visited by, aside from the tourists, the first time I heard about this was, oh man, am I going to say it again? I think it was
Scariest Places on Earth.
Yeah, it was. And I was like, oh, that looks awesome. And then
MTV's Fear,
which they called it something else, which is like the thing for that fucking show.
Yeah.
They called everything something else. And then I want to say it was like 2005, 2006, maybe. There was this little documentary that came out called Spooked.
Woo.
Ooh. Spooked, the Ghosts of Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Now, to watch this now is to just gouge your own eyes out. It's on YouTube. If you guys are interested, we'll throw the link up when we put this on the Facebook page if you want to check it out. It is so of that year that it came out that it's like, it's disgusting.
Oh yeah, it's got like all these quick cuts and then like the shaky camera scenes, like reminiscent of like a Rob Zombie film, you know, even the same sound effects, like the you know.
There's all that. There's just like the bad editing and like the silly like production like value to it. There's like flashing to like these animated menus and like telling you about like this is what a shadow person is, and it's like
and then like they cut in like so many of these photos where you're just like, that's a picture of nothing. Like you're really showing me like there's no.
Here's the thing. These guys, I think they're called like the Booth brothers, right? Right, the Booth brothers. Right?
I think that sounds familiar.
All right, they're two British guys, and like I know they're still like, I don't know, they still show up at these conventions, so whatever. But they're twins, and they both dress like Bret Michaels from Poison.
And we're not talking,
shit you not.
And we're not talking about during Poison. We're talking like Rock of Love.
Yeah, no, he is 100% Rock of Love because they have like the bandanas and the cowboy hats.
Yep,
and it's bad. So they're the directors of. At the time, they were at Waverly Hills filming a movie called Death Tunnel. Which, if you want to laugh till your fucking eyes bleed, put this movie on. I think it's like 99 cents to rent pretty much anywhere. I'll reimburse you the 99 cents. It's so bad that it's good. It's one of those. I mean, maybe even not. Maybe even not. It is, but it isn't. But it is.
And you know, if you want to make, you know, get like a little preview, watch Spooked before, and you'll see there's lots of clips.
Well, that's where I was getting to, right? Yeah. So they were there at Waverly Hills filming this movie, and when they were there, apparently they were having all these experiences, and they're like, "Oh, we need to document this and show the world what we what we experienced while filming this movie." And
show the world.
They say that. That's literally.
I know, but it's just like, and then they have like all like they're like teenagers and stuff in like the amphitheater, and they're like, "Oh
my god!" And there was a cure. It's so bad, and it's like, oh man.
The music throughout.
The bad synth like. Anyway, so they try to put together this documentary of the place because they get fascinated with the place during the filming of this movie called Death Tunnel, which it's not called the Death Tunnel, it's called the Body Shoot, but whatever. And during the time there, they record all of this quote unquote evidence. Some of it seems to be like, all right, maybe these guys were filming and they got pretty spooked out, and that's legitimate. I could see that, but they fucking ran with it because they're filmmakers, right?
Yes.
And they embellish the shit out of it. So when you're watching the documentary, halfway through, you're like, wait, is this a documentary or is this the movie? And they're like, oh, yeah, we were filming Death Tunnel. And then they clip to like a clip from it, Death Tunnel 2005. And it's like a fucking 60-second clip. It's like, what?
Yeah. And the dude, oh my God, the one clip of the one actress, they're showing this scene and she's like, do you smell that?
Yeah.
It's pancakes and syrup.
They're cooking breakfast.
I was like, I swear, I was just watching it. Like, if I was,
what did I tell you? I know you've never seen it. I was like, you got to watch it because
it was a tie. Hey, I don't regret.
Where were you when you first saw Spooked?
Yeah. Oh my God.
So anyway, they touch on
breakfast.
Yeah, ghostly breakfast, folks. Apparently, if you go up there. And outside of, you know, all this fuckery that we're talking about, apparently if you go up there and you just catch it on the right day, you can, and this is up on a hill, there's nothing around this. I mean, maybe there was an explanation for it, but you can smell them cooking breakfast because this place was a huge, almost like isolated town in its own. They had to cook for an army every day.
Yeah.
So whatever you would call that, a residual smell, is that a thing?
Yeah, definitely. It is. It's a residual ghost smell, spectral smell. We'll go with.
All right. Right. So I just imagine Dan Aykroyd saying,
"Listen, you smell something?"
So in this documentary, quote unquote, they go over some of the famous hauntings of our good of our Waverly Hills. Now, before we get to room 502, let's fuck it. We're gonna go to room 502.
Okay.
Did you get to the metal band in that documentary?
Oh, did I ever?
Right.
What was that band's? What was
Incursion 502. And then this fucking guy comes on. Incursion means a hostile takeover. 502 is a hospital bathroom. Why would you want to have a hostile takeover of a hospital bathroom? And they just show him. I was like, was that a joke? What was that?
The directors were like, love it, keep it in.
Yep, keep it in. Yep. Anyway, I don't really think they're from England because their accent wavers like hardcore.
It comes and goes. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
They're like Madonna. She was British for a while.
Yeah, no, totally. I think she still does it.
Fucking bitch.
I don't know. So this building is 5 stories tall. First floor is like administrative, offices, all that kind of shit. Then he had second, third, and fourth was like patient rooms, and the 5th floor was the psych ward. Did you know this?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so the 5th floor was for tuberculosis TB patients. Sorry, it's Friday night and I'm tired.
Yeah.
First floor is for TB patients with mental health disorders. So one night in 1928, the attendant nurse who had become pregnant out of wedlock, allegedly, decided to hang herself because of the social stigma attached to her situation, right? In room 502, which was a bathroom. And according to legend, her body wasn't discovered until the next morning.
Yeah, because of the 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, right. So, and when they got to her, she was surrounded, her dead body hanging, surrounded by the shrieking and disturbed patients who had spent the night staring at her hanging body.
Yeah. Yep.
Insert metal riff.
Yeah.
And also, same room, same floor, we get another nurse a few years later in the 1930s who is said to have also committed suicide, but jumped off of the 5th floor roof.
Yep.
And her story apparently was she was also pregnant, but by one of the doctors. And they can't, and some say that she didn't jump, that she was pushed, that the doctor was like, yeah, I can't be having this. And he's like, hey, hey, baby, let's go up to the 5th floor for, whatever.
Yeah, I'll
moonlight,
whisper,
whatever.
Yeah, whisper sweet nothings and woo you some more.
Yeah. And then he was like, psych. And then he just
psych, you're mine. And just boom.
Yeah, pulled the total Christopher Walken from Batman Returns. Huh? And then after, fixes the suit.
Yep. Oh, man. She lands. He's like, got him.
Yep. You fired.
Boom. You're fired. Boom.
Yeah. So that's the 5th floor. And now because of this whole room 502 thing, like, I guess like that's like the thing everyone holds on to because it's like 5th floor. What's with the suicides? The pregnant women, suicides, nurses. And I don't know. I mean, if I lived in that area, I'd like, fuck yeah, dude, room 5, it's fucking crazy. Like,
yeah.
There's people with tattoos of room 502 on them. I think they showed that. Did they show that in the documentary? Or was it one of the other?
Yeah, no, they also went into, so the band, one of the guys took the numbers off the wall, like, say it's 502. He ends up getting kicked out of his house. He ends up like a bunch of getting fired, like a bunch of stuff. Like his parents kick him out. It's not because he's in a band and, that's all he does. It's because of these numbers. So he ends up giving them to the, guitarist who then mounts it to his amplifier.
Right. Yeah, because it wasn't because of the band, because they're super successful, right? I mean, how many albums deep are they now?
Yeah, probably just that one.
Just that one. Yeah, that's what I
thought. Incursion 502.
Because when I first watched that, and I'm watching, because I almost want to like get them on here and like interview them.
I was gonna say we should try to
when they first show them, and like just like the way like the dude had like the little like short like cornrow sort of like haircut. I was like, these guys are fucking juggalos, aren't they? I was like, are these guys? Yeah, are they got to be like twisted or like adjacent to these assholes because like, they had that vibe.
Chugging fuegos and fucking worshiping the great Malenko.
Oh boy. Maybe we should do an episode on juggalos because I think we have a grand old time.
Well, yeah, they are one of the other dangers. Maybe we'll save that for when we start the Patreon.
We'll save that for when we start the Patreon and the next time we have Ryan on.
Oh, yeah. Whew.
Yeah, we can't have him on every episode, folks, for obvious reasons. See the last episode.
Yeah.
So you, then, yeah, we love you, Ryan. He knows.
Yeah, he knows.
So, another famous haunt that hangs out in this genre.
John's in Kentucky. All right.
And hey, man, it's universal at this point.
It is.
There's Mary Lee. She's the ghost of a young girl who allegedly haunts the entire building. And when she's sighted, she's bouncing this red ball. She is said to want to play with visitors, and a red ball will come bouncing like out of the dark, out of nowhere. And then terror usually ensues. Like
a James Wan film.
Yeah, but way before his films.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, that's good stuff, but like that seems manufactured. I mean, I like that. I mean, hey, if I go there and a red ball comes bouncing in the dark, I'm like, all right, I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. Well, the our boys over at BuzzFeed Unsolved, they did when they went there, the ball, when he bounced it down the hallway, and Shane pointed out that it sounded like it took some extra bounces, and then where it landed was right under spray paint that said Ryan. So of course, Ryan's freaking the fuck out, and Shane's just like, how could this happen? And then he also goes,
you're sure? He's like mocking him the whole time. And that's funny. Go ahead.
He's also like, well, it's also landed by the giant pot leaf too, so maybe.
Yeah, it's landed near the graffiti that says "I love weed."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny too because in their version, which is kind of interesting, I don't know if they changed it or the story has changed or if they're trying to push some new narrative over there. But they said over there that the ghost is a little boy instead, and his name's Timmy, and he has a blue ball.
Whoa.
See, I have two takeaways from this. Okay, is there like a blood and Crip situation going on with the ghosts over there? Are there two factions, the red balls and the blue?
It's highly likely.
Or did BuzzFeed get it wrong and they were talking about Mary Lee and then they were just randomly talking about Timmy who has blue balls?
I don't know, man.
I mean,
we might have to send some emails.
Or not.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I took away from Spooked, besides the things we already talked about, when they're interviewing all like the locals, the stories seem to differ and change. There's,
those locals, God bless them.
Yeah, but really, God bless.
It's gonna get you.
Yeah, the old guy, the wears the suit when he goes in. I was like, I love this motherfucker, man. He was awesome. And then the guy with his wife.
One guy came in, he had sticks thrown at him, bricks thrown at him, and he peed all over himself. I was like, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep. Cut, print.
I was like, print it. Yep. Talk about good times, man.
I'm not making fun. It just sounds like they're having a good time down there.
Yeah, they are. With their oxygen fucking dose.
With their oxy, is that what you said?
Yeah, the oxygen, they had oxygen tubes.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, those people actually had TB back in the day and actually worked there. That's the thing about this thing that we're talking about here, the Spooked. That could have been an actually really good documentary if those guys weren't such like twats. I don't know.
Yeah, they were. They were total twats. And Brittany just walked by me and scared.
I said boo.
You got to calm down. The next on my list and last I have on the list, which I actually think is the best one and probably my favorite sighting of this whole property and really goes with the whole mood of this property, is the old man and the dog. I really like this one because this one really like links itself to like the age of the building and the fact that it was like it sat abandoned for 25 years almost.
Yeah,
which is insane. So this only happens on the 3rd floor, and there's people have cited with some regularity, like it's just like, oh yeah, the ghost of a tall old man and his white dog, and it's always the same tall old man, shabby, he looks homeless, with his white dog. They say it looks like a white German Shepherd. And allegedly, this is the spirit of a homeless man who fell to his death down the elevator shaft when the building was still abandoned.
Yeah.
Then they're like, well, why is the dog
yeah.
with him? And it's like, well, maybe the dog fell down too, or the dog just, didn't have the. I don't know.
There's a couple of plausible situations. One, he could have, got pushed, taking the dog with him.
Yep.
2, the dog could have just been loyal as fuck like dogs are, and he was like, I'm coming, Dad.
Yeah.
We're going out together. But man, ghost dogs.
Or it was just ghost dog again.
Yeah, again.
Here we are again, Forrest Whitaker.
Love it.
Did you come across any other hauntings that were reported in this?
No, not really. They're pretty on this one. They're pretty dead set in their the 4 big ones. The
Waverly Hills canon.
Yeah, the Waverly Hills canon. The 2 nurses. Then you got the old vagrant and his dog, and you got the phantom food smell. And one thing for me, it always kind of gets lost on me when they start putting these backstories to stuff and like saying this is what hauntings are, because then it kind of gets to me to be like that overproduced TV stuff. Like,
sure.
And like, I have to go back to Dead Files, because what a piece of shit show that is. And like,
you want to just have a hate episode?
Oh, I would love to. I would love to. And see, like, if I want to go, I don't even want to think about that kind of stuff. I just want to go feel it, see what happens. I'm not out here testing things, like you get to that point of like, it's like, all right, lights out and let's provoke and let's bring all our fancy tools in and do this kind of stuff, which sure.
Or if you're there for like a 3-hour ghost hunt, you spend an hour and a half setting up your rig.
Yeah. yeah. You and your girlfriend, you both got a big old rig.
Yep. And they look like the people that were on the show Fear.
Yeah.
Walking around with flashlights in their face. And I was like, dude, how do you see where you're going? He's like, oh, I got all these stuff here. I was like, right on, man. Yeah. Have fun.
So this is a reference to when we investigated Eastern State Penitentiary. And there's a couple that came along.
And they were fighting too, because they're like, babe, I can't get it to work. Is this supposed to be blinking? Come up and help me. I was like, this is comedic gold.
Yeah. Yeah. Their documentary probably never aired.
It probably aired that night in the car on the way home. That was their documentary. I don't know, man.
It's just silliness.
I like what you're saying now. I like what you're saying when it comes to like, don't give me some like, don't solidify it too much, right? Because then because who's to say that story is right?
Yeah.
Like, look at it more of as like, a legend that like, let it be a little elastic, right?
Yeah.
Give it some wiggle room. Like
once you stamp down, when you stamp down on something like that, it's just like, all right, well, if I'm going in there, all right, and then this happens, it's like, oh, it's this ghost. So it takes away one from the mystery, two from just the overall kind of fear in a way for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like,
if you can quantify it completely, it's not scary.
Yeah. If I'm just like, oh, there goes, old Bessie who, jumped off the roof pregnant again.
Again. I kind of liken it to my running theory about the Friday the 13th series.
Okay. All right.
Why does Jason's appearance and the story details change all the time? Because these are kids and teenagers around a campfire retelling the story. Details are going to change. Right. That's my personal view on it.
Yeah.
Oh, his mask has this and is this. Well, why is he big in this one? He can run in this one, but he only walks in this one. But they said the mother died, but then he's in the woods for 30 years. No, it's an urban legend. And how many of those films open up with kids around a campfire?
A lot.
Or at least there's scenes with kids telling ghost stories around a campfire.
Yeah.
That's my truth.
I
kind of liken that to what you're saying here. It's like, let it be a legend, let it live like almost like in like a folklore kind of sense where it's like, oh, that's what you experienced? That's awesome. Here's what I experienced. Doesn't gel with like a storytelling kind of thing, but I like that we both had an experience, and and I think that's cool.
And also, I want to throw in that Friday the 13th 7 is my favorite iteration of Jason Voorhees.
Oh, it's everybody's Jason's. Oh, he's fucking Kane Hodder's first go.
Right. Just tossing that out there. See where it lands.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you let Kane Hodder do part 6, that would be the ultimate fucking Friday movie. Think about it. I like this. Part 6 has everything. I don't want to get into this.
Yeah. Right. Back to Waverly Hills.
Go for a long time.
Yeah. Back to Waverly Hills.
Hey, welcome back to the Friday the 13th podcast.
Today, Tommy Jarvis. Which jacket would you prefer him?
Corey or not?
Oh man.
It's
Yep.
What it is.
That is what it is. But yeah, hauntings in these kind of places are this is like top 3 kind of hauntings for me.
Yes.
You got so much history.
Yes.
You got the stories, the folklore aspect of it. Changes from the villagers around. And, I grew up a stone's throw from Byberry. So, we had that same thing.
Yeah.
That
was your creepy castle on the hill.
It was my creepy castle on the hill. And, the craziest thing was it just wasn't on the hill. It was just like we're on our way to Grandpa's.
Sure.
There's fucking Byberry, right there. And it's just, oh man, these kind of places, man, are the cream of the crop. And I'm so glad it still stands to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, we love these places. These places just generate, you have the fear, but the wonder, and like it gets the imagination going. I think that's, at the base level, that's what hooks, people like you and I into this kind of shit, where it's just like, what happened there? What is going on there now? Why do places like this like cause these experiences in some people? You know what I mean? Why do people go there and, they come out and they're like, yeah, I can't explain it, but I saw a person and then they disappeared. It's like, well, why does that happen? And I love the fact that will probably never be adequately explained. I love that.
Yep. And it's almost how it should be. I mean, we're such a society of, I need the right answer and the answer and the this and that, and it's like, bro, just enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the story.
Yeah.
Enjoy the place.
Yeah, it seems to almost kind of tailor itself to you, or whatever your baggage or whatever you got going on is kind of, shaping that story for you. But,
Yeah, people tend to make those kind of stories, like what personally scares them and, what personally goes on. So it's what they think would terrify other people because it terrifies them.
Right.
So that gets passed on and it changes over time. And
they tell two friends.
and they tell and so on and so on.
So no, I totally feel you. And I see why this always pops up on people's, top, always top 10, sometimes top 5.
Yeah.
And, the place kind of speaks for itself. I mean, you go there, you don't even have to know anything about it. If you go walk around that building, I'm sure you're going to come out with at least a severe case of the creeps, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Epic level chills.
Did you say chills?
Not that chills. Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Let me know in the comments. Is it haunted? Is it the death tunnel or the body shoot?
I recorded my new rap video at Waverly Hills. Click the like button.
Yeah, button. People ask why I talk like this. I don't have an answer.
Just like, why did I make this rap video?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
I was dropped on my head.
I lived under power lines and ate paint chips as a kid.
Paint chips. Like this.
All right, we're gonna go off script real quick. So, do we have any? I think we do actually. I think we have a joint.
Yeah.
Because we. All right, so
we're here at Other Dangerous Podcast. Let me just say, we are fully. This is mostly 99% about hauntings and you know, the paranormal, but we're big comic book nerds. You know, we grew up in it. We love the movies. We love the stuff. and recently, leading up to this episode, Venom 2 trailer drops. Let there be carnage.
Now, first, a little. I don't. I said to Ken. All right. First of all, what are we? We're almost a year and a half into this nonsense. Everyone's done, and like we're starving for fucking content.
Yeah.
And Sony just squeezed this hot log out of Sony's ass. This fucking trailer drops, and my fucking jaw was on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not real. I was like, that was the blooper reel, right? I was like, the Venom symbiote making breakfast.
Yeah. You know, that was just some like director was like, oh, we got to have it in there because it's.
I loved Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah, I was gonna say
makes breakfast in the beginning.
Yeah, it's that same like thing. It's like we have to have this in there because it's like a funny, zany, whoa, and like, whoa, dude. The first one they ruined Venom so much. The first one was dog shit. The writing was dog shit. The casting sucks, and then they bring this one, right? They bring the second one. They cast Woody fucking Harrelson.
Woody Paycheck Harrelson.
Yeah, Woody Paycheck Harrelson. Hasn't done anything good since fucking True Detective season 1.
Oh, kiss up to God for that show.
Yeah, yeah. But like, all right, and I'm super pissed too because Maximum Carnage. Me and my brother Eric, we were obsessed with that comic series.
Oh, so was I, man. Went every week to get all the issues.
Yeah, yep. My dad would take us
and had the game.
And had the game. Yep. Still haven't beat it. It's one of the games I still haven't beat.
We did that summer. Me and my brother John stayed up till like 2 a.m. We finally got to Carnage, and like, I don't know. He to his credit, my brother John, he did it like somehow. He was dialed in. We had like one sliver of life left, and hit Carnage. I was like, we did it!
Yeah,
it was insane. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. My parents were like, what the fuck? Like, great times.
And you're like, fuck you, go to bed. Carnage is done.
Yeah.
But so back to this goddamn trailer.
There's almost like a poignant message in here about this trailer where it's like, look at how far we've come, but really how far we've fallen as far as comic book movies have gone, or just, I mean, I could say movies in general, but like that last one, even though that last one was bad. Yeah. I mean, you know, you have a character that, you know, can't exist without Spider-Man, but well, here he is.
Yep.
And now here we are. And now we have Carnage, which they're not even living in a cell together. And then they'll even have him with the symbiote in his bloodstream, which is like, that's not even like, that's like third year of being Carnage. Like,
yeah. Well, you know, here's how it was put to me. And I really liked this explanation. My buddy Dave from work, we, you know, we work in the same office and we get into these huge nerd conversations all the time. And he was like, look, it's like The Walking Dead. It's like, it's mainstream now. Like Marvel movies and superhero movies and DC movies are mainstream now. So they're not tailoring it to the comic book fans and the people that actually are the real audience, you know, of why these are so good and so popular. Now they're just doing it for whatever. It's The View. It's fucking the Ellen Show, you know?
I can't fault it for that, but it still has to be like good. Like, don't turn him into this fucking, like, I don't even know what I was watching, man. Like, the Venom symbiote is now part like Rocket the Raccoon, but also like, you can't eat her. It's like, this is not how this goes. Like, what?
It's like a buddy cop movie with like an alien in with one person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
and it's like, is this part of like, I mean, is this one of these like Tom Hardy like contract situations where like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. was like, all right, I want to be in the movie more than I have the helmet on. So you're going to see my face more than you normally would, because Iron Man would totally keep his fucking helmet on while there's all this shit going on. But he wants to see his face in the movie and all that kind of thing. Is this what we're looking at here with this?
Or is it a situation where he's just trying to fund some other project that he's trying to do on the side?
I mean, it's got to be.
Because he is a great actor. And he's done some great projects.
Absolutely is. He's got great fucking films. I mean, just off the top of my head, Bronson, crazy. Even that movie,
Warrior.
what's the other one? Legend, where he played
the two
Krays.
brothers. Yeah.
That
great.
even that's great. I mean,
Revenant.
that show. Oh, dude, he's great in Revenant.
Yep.
And that TV show, you see Taboo.
I didn't watch Taboo, but I heard good things.
It's quirky, but it's really good. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know why. So this trailer was so bad and made me just want to I don't even know what. I was like, you know what, Ken, we need to discuss this on the podcast.
Yeah, and I was totally in agreement because the moment I saw it, I was like, what are they doing to this character?
Yeah.
And the storyline and just.
No, Venom is my favorite Marvel character, not villain, character. It's my favorite. So when that movie came out, the first one, I was like, no, there goes that. Nope, Tom Holland will show up in the second one, and then he'll like put the spider on it, and it's like, no,
nope.
I don't want to hear that.
And my biggest fucking beef with the first one, besides it starting in San Francisco, where that is a whole story arc where he makes a deal with Spider-Man that he'll go to San Francisco and he won't kill anyone anymore. Right. Is that they made Venom, I'm a loser on my planet. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no.
Venom eats brains and is a monster. Like,
yeah, and he's also like thousands of years old.
Yeah, it's so stupid. That movie.
It made me so angry that we had to talk about it.
Same here. So sorry to derail it again, but
but that had to be our closing statements because
we're putting our foot down.
That's it. God damn it. No more.
Also, Luke Skywalker was in the season finale.
Also, the Marvel TV shows are really fucking up. But I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother other danger that we'll get into.
Other Marvels.
Yeah.
Oh
boy.
All right. Well, we had to do a Zoom episode this week because life.
Right.
But we'll be getting back together real soon to record some more episodes. I don't know what'll happen. We might have another Zoom episode, maybe not, but we'll be getting back together real soon. May is just seems to be a crazy month. Yeah,
new format still in play. Just want to get some content out there for everyone.
It'll just be the two of us, so it'll be a little more straight and narrow. I'm not going to say we got out of control last time, but there's a lost episode now, just so you know.
Yeah, and if we start the Patreon, you'll get the we were originally going to call the gin and tonic episode when we were talking about it, but
maybe we'll release that.
Yeah, maybe. It's in the vault. Is all I'm saying.
It definitely is in the vault. And yeah. So. But I guess that's it, buddy.
Yeah, I guess that's
Waverly Hills. Quite the place. Love the stories. Love the surrounding folklore and myth that's kind of grown up around this place. And it's only places like this that really have the cojones to really have these mystiques built around them. So
so I mean,
always love talking about them.
Official judgment, it's Other Dangerous podcast canon.
Oh,
so
100%.
That's in
only
there.
Because you can smell breakfast.
Yeah. This one avoids the chum bucket gang, and it's not on probation, straight into canon.
No, straight. Yep. I don't care what Chuck Rack says.
Fuck that.
I mean, it's even Peter James would agree.
I'm coming through.
Yep. Well, all right, guys, that wraps it up. And for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.